Welcome to our 5 on 5. Please welcome back Congressman Greg Walden. Congressman, good to see you.
Good to be with you again.
Thanks for being here. So the third presidential debate coming up on Wednesday night. What would you like to see from Donald Trump?
You know, I think a discussion about policy, a discussion about where he would take America as president. I think for both of them that's important. I think the voters really want to see what will you do to solve America's problems, where can you come together. I think this one in part is supposed to be focused on foreign policy, I think, and so that's going to be important. But certainly Americans have a lot of questions unanswered yet from both candidates.
His poll numbers have been declining nationally since the first debate. He now says the election is rigged, or he's calling into question the legitimacy of it. What's your response to that?
You know, I think you always have to watch for voter fraud. We don't have that problem, particularly in Oregon. We're fortunate that way. There are some states and certainly some municipalities where it's a legitimate issue. But I think overall voters have the ability to speak. I think I have great faith in the electoral process in America. And I think there are enough watchdogs to keep an eye on voter fraud to go after it if it exists, as it should. I mean, we have to be able to have trust in our electoral process. I think our county clerks here do a great job. I think our Secretary of State can do a fine job. And if there is fraud, they've rooted it out before, and they'll do it again.
You condemned the audio that was released a couple of weeks ago, the decade-old audio, I should say. But you didn't say whether you're still supporting him, I assume.
That hasn't changed. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Last week we hosted Southern Oregon's only gubernatorial debate, and we asked the candidates what grade they would give their party for the presidential election. What grade would you give yours?
You know, I think everybody's struggling with where we are right now. But clearly, I think what you're seeing, if I were to give them a grade, I'd probably give them a B or a C.
And that I mean the party, not necessarily Mr.
Yeah,
Trump.
no, I understand.
Okay.
So I'd probably say a B or a C because there's a lot more to the party than just your nominee. I mean, if you look at what we've done in the House with the whole Better Way agenda. Oops.
Nope, that's all right.
And that is to talk about how we would govern going forward, how we would solve America's problems. And that's what this is really about. And so you have the ability to go in and look. And so from a party perspective, everybody knows we're against the way Obamacare was done.
Sure.
You probably don't know what we would do to fix it. Here are 47 or 48 different ideas. We have all kinds of solutions in here that started grassroots up from members like me from our districts, including things like how we would get people out of poverty. Some of the welfare reform proposals actually came out of a place called Klamath Falls, where I met with a team down there that has a whole different vision for how to get people the education and services that they need to work their way out of poverty. You'll find some of that in here. Here's everything we do on tax policy to get that money back from offshore, make America more productive. So there's so much more than just your presidential nominee when it comes to this. But, you know, it's hard to find oxygen in the presidential world for anything else.
Understandable. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Much more in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Congressman Greg Walden. Congressman, you met today with a group of RCC students, veterans. Right. What did you hear from them? You
know, it was really good. They're all studying different things at RCC and trying to further their careers, going down different paths. And so what I really wanted to find out, though, was what's the program at RCC? Because it works. And how can it be replicated, and what do they need to do going forward to continue to expand and improve? They're applying for some different grants. We want to be supportive of that. And what they want to focus even more on are veterans who may be the first in their family to ever pursue higher education and may come from lower income status. So they're really trying to develop this niche where they can help veterans, especially those who may be the first in their family to go forward, to navigate all the way through. And for some, it's a whole new experience, right? For those of us who maybe grew up through families that had gone through college before us, mine actually hadn't, but you know, it's kind of a culture shock, or can be. And if you've been out doing other things and now come back to college for the first time, that's something. And then try to navigate all the different programs and all the paperwork and all the applications can be a bit daunting. And so the other piece of this I think is really important. It's something we're trying to do at the federal level. How do you take the training, the education you got while in the military and have that count toward credits in college? You know, if you're a fully trained medic, how does that not count toward part of a nursing degree or an EMT degree, or if you're trained up in computer science in the military? And I think for our veterans and for their future, it makes a lot of sense to figure out how to bridge those gaps so that the things they learned in the military transfer over into moving their education forward. There was one student there today who said upwards of a year of his training in the military on medical, I think he was a medic, will now transfer into the nursing program he's in. So that saves him basically a year. And so this is big. And so you try and find out what's working, what's not, and then continue to move forward.
Okay, and real quick, I want to ask about ONC payments. The schedule will run out next June, I believe. Any concern about those being extended?
You know, I think it's a big concern, actually. When I was able to, working with then Speaker Boehner, to get not just a one-year extension, which is what he had pledged to help me on, but we got 2 years. Everybody knew it was a 2-year cycle. In the meantime, for years and years and years, we've said we have to fix forest policy because this train's going to run out of gas at some point. And because you have to find a way to pay for it. You have to find offsets, and that's harder and harder to do. And so a number of the county commissions and others have said the ramping down of the payments to a point that it's at now, while important, it would actually be far more valuable to get back to where we change forest policy, get people to work in the woods, and have a sustainable revenue source and a stronger local economy. So we're working on both. I've talked to Senator Wyden during the break about the forestry legislation, which is in conference between the House and the Senate right now. I think he's on that conference committee. He pledged to be supportive in terms of the forestry piece. We think there may be some common ground going forward. If we could do that, we could reduce the fires, we could get people back to work, and we could get a sustainable forestry program back in place that would produce revenues. But just going to the Treasury every year, every 2 years, and hoping you can find something at the end of the year to maybe put money together has been very, very difficult.
It's good to see you.
Craig, good to see you.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.